It got to know that life ain't always what it seemed to be. Words can express what you mean to me.
What's up,
Know
everybody?
your
How y'all
heart
doing?
is still a team. Through your family, I'll feel your
We
team.
don't own the rights to any music.
Yeah, we do not own the rights to any of this music.
Reminisce sometimes.
Cause you know that's Diddy.
Took my friends.
He just got out of the war. He'll shut us down. Diddy will shut us down.
Real feelings hard to can't imagine all
P.
the pain I
Diddy,
feel.
Puff
Even
Daddy,
you hear half
Puff,
the breath.
Now Love,
Still living your life after death.
18 names. But he is giving Jackson State and Howard a million apiece. So that's cool, bro. I ain't gonna play much of this today because we ain't trying to get our stuff shut down. That's it. That's it for Diddy. He's done. Done Diddy. We're gonna call him Done Diddy. So how y'all feeling? Everybody good?
Yeah.
Well,
That's great. That's great. I'm gonna give some shout outs. People came over to see me. They knew it was the day that this is the day that my wife passed back in 2019. So it's been 3 years for me. They came over to support me and talk to me. So you may hear a little chatter while we do the podcast, but good people, I appreciate them coming through. Um, and there's a couple more people on their way. So I'm gonna be out here all night. We ain't gotta work tomorrow, so that's a good thing. For those people that don't know, again, this is the anniversary of my wife's death, and that's kind of ironic that we're doing the next installment of our grief series on this. We just want to again uplift the people like we have been doing. We have experienced the loss of a loved one since the last time we were on the screen, and definitely those that have lost a spouse, because each one of us up here, except for Eric, and that's not a shot at him, have lost a spouse, and we hope he never has to feel this and go through this, nor
Absolutely.
his wife in the reverse. So once again, I'm gonna let everybody just introduce themselves and tell their situation. We can start with whoever. We're gonna let you go first. So Sim is gonna go last. We'll start with Serena. Tell us your situation, how long your spouse has been gone, and we'll go from there. All right.
Hello, everyone. I'm married to Brian McCorkle. Brian passed away February 26, 2021. It's been 16 months since he has gone.
All right. CJ, it's on you.
I'm Kantana Peterson. My husband was Darius Peterson, and he transitioned on November 13th of 2020. It's been an interesting journey since his departure.
When I Katana, you got to pronounce your name again so everybody can understand, so they don't call you the wrong thing. That's a little inside with me and her. So please tell them.
The name is phonetically pronounced Kantana, just as it's spelled, Connonna. Kantana.
I had to get that in on you. All right, Sam, it's on you, man.
All right. My name is Asim Muqtasid. My wife was Sonia Muqtasid. Her light was extinguished February 6th, 2021. It's been a year and some months since she passed. And it's been an uphill battle. I missed her every day. She died of a hemocardium. Basically, she had an aneurysm in her heart, and she passed away unexpectedly. And it's been a struggle for me and my children, but we're gonna keep keeping on. And I thank you, Joe, for having this. This is a great group therapy for me and the other people among us who come together and talk about this, because we a lot of people know this is one of the things that happens, like that you never, like I say it all the time. We always talk about, like, what if I got in a car accident, lost an arm or lost a leg, and people don't realize how serious this is. It just is that serious. Like, it's a reality of you're doing things different. You're living a different life now, and you got to adjust. And this group therapy helps us all talk about these things. So,
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Um, so this particular show came about The last one we did was Christmas, and we were just talking about how the holidays affect us and whatnot. So we held off for a while, people out there that's watching, because we wanted to be able to have some months and have people that have some growth and be a little deeper into their journey. Like I said, I'm 3 years. Asim is not quite 2 years. Katana, you how many?
I'm a year. It'll be 2 years in November.
2 years in November. And Serena, you are 2 years, right? You've covered 2 years.
Uh-uh.
No.
A year and 4 months.
Oh, dang. Okay. So I'm the old head, I guess, in this,
You're
huh?
the old head, then me, then
so,
Brandon, then Asim.
this journey, some of the places they are right now, and they're going through, I've been through, and we just wanted you all to see, how people have dealt with it and how this journey has been for them at different stages, and definitely after the holidays and getting back into a more normal pace of life. So I'm not gonna talk first. I'm gonna let y'all. All right.
Well, just recently, I had a heart attack. Yes, I had a heart attack last month.
Wow. Looking good.
This
Yeah.
it's amazing, and it's amazing because I'm still here. And the story behind it is that I started having bad like chest pains, and I thought, so I started going to the doctor for for treatment. And in fact, a good friend of mine, had told me like, don't play with this. You need to go to the doctor if you're having really bad chest pains. So when I got was getting checked out, they were treating me for like ulcers. They thought I had like a bad stomach ulcer or something like that. Because what would happen is I get an uncontrollable chest pain, like indigestion, and just start uncontrollably burping with this pain in my chest. So this went on for like a month and a half. So I went to so I ended up in it. Was the crazy thing is, I went to the doctor, I went to urgent care, and then on a Wednesday, I went to the emergency room, and they gave me what they call a cocktail, which was like lidocaine and like milk of magnesia, and it supposedly soothed my chest and everything, and I was doing fine. But fast forward on Sunday, 4 days after that, the pain came back like a knife in my chest, and it was so excruciating. The I'll say this: it's like my wife put her hand on my shoulder and told me, don't play with this, because the night she passed away, she wasn't feeling good, and she was having pain, and she thought, well, let me just lay down and I'll feel better. And just like I said at the beginning of the show, it was unexpected. So when that started happening, I was like, okay, something's not right. Let me go to the doctor. So I go to the emergency room, and I'm in there. I'm conscious. I'm just in terrible pain. And they give me an EKG, and the doctor comes back and tells me, you're having a heart attack, and we're going to start moving fast, so pay attention. So I'm still, as they're telling me what they're going to do, but they've already given me drugs. And the way they're explaining it, I'm sitting here thinking that they're going to do the procedure right there in the emergency room. No, they strip me down. They start rolling me down the hallway. Next thing I know, I'm in the room like Grey's Anatomy. They had to put a stent in my chest. They said I had 95% blockage. If I had not gotten up and came to the hospital, I probably would have passed away. So I plead with all my brothers and sisters, do not play with your health at our age. If you have any discomfort, if it's in your leg, in your arm, you don't know. In fact, I just buried my wife's cousin. We just buried my wife's cousin a couple days ago. He had died of a heart attack. And before she passed away, he had told us about how he was having bad sleep apnea. This is before she passed away. I don't know if he ever went to the doctor. I really couldn't say. But all I'm stressing is that uh, from just a week before this happened, I studied martial arts. And a week before this happened, I sparred 4 people. It wasn't like I had it wasn't like I was like in desperate bad health, feeling bad all the time. I just had this bad indigestion, and it overwhelmed me. So don't take any of your pain lightly. Your pain is your body telling you something is wrong. Do not play with this too much. And let's not play with this anymore. Go to the doctor. And it's funny because I've read this too. People who are married live longer, and it's due to two things. is due to your happiness, and is due to your spouse. When something's wrong with you, your spouse telling you, you need to go to the doctor, baby. You need to go to the doctor because I need you to get that checked out. And so this is real. So, but I realized I was like I brought up the physical part of it to say that even if it wasn't physical, it was my stress. I've been internalizing my pain and been and as good as everybody tells me I'm doing, everybody always telling you, "Oh, you're doing so good." Oh, you know, and you see a smile on on my exterior. You see me go out here and handle my business. What you don't see is the lonely nights where I cry. What you don't see is when everything gets quiet and I look across the room and I see a picture on a mantle. And it's the pain. What you don't see is when me looking at my daughter when she's not looking at me and wondering if she's thinking about her mother and is everything going to be all right. This is just what I'm dealing with, and this is just the life this is my life now. And I try to remember that God gives his toughest warriors his hardest battles. Somebody wrote that on my Facebook wall, and I can't remember exactly who it is. Whoever it was, shout out to you, thank you. But it's been an inspiration because when things get tough, that's what I think about.
Serena, how you been doing?
I say I'm a little better. As tough as 2021 was, I was not prepared for 2022. I was not prepared for year two. Year two has been strange. And it feels almost like I'm coming out of a fog. I'm remembering a lot of stuff. I'm relying on my best friend to fill in missing pieces. But the emotional part, especially once the holidays hit, really didn't start recovering from the weight of him not being here for the holidays until around March, April. Like I was saying, just the stress of internalizing it all. Year two kind of, I think I texted Joe as soon as it came in. Year two kind of is is kind of, it makes it real. And that was difficult at first. Still is. My smile, my happiness, my laughter, my doing life is not as forced as it was last year. But still miss him every day, still cry at least once a day. The girls are stronger than it's the cliche in the beginning, it will get better, you'll feel better. Unfortunately, it is true. It does get a little bearable. Say that.
Yeah, that's what I tell people all the time. It doesn't get better; it just gets bearable. You adapt, you change, and better will be with them here. CJ, how you feeling?
I've been I've done pretty well. I am grateful. I inadvertently was going through some photos last night. My girlfriend and I were talking, and I was flipping through some things that we texted each other, and I had a difficult moment. I ran across a photo of Darius, and I never released a lot of information about what happened. I just told people, he did pass away from arterial fibrillation, which was his heart. But there were only maybe 3, maybe 4 people total that ever saw the magnitude of what he went through. And I took a photo and I came across it last night. And that was very challenging for me. And I generally handle it very well. I think the intensity of life right now, business is picking up, things are moving forward, and having to make some serious decisions about my own will. I just finished my will and my healthcare power of attorney, and all the documents, had them notarized, and I'm preparing to send them out to my son and to my brother. And that's a very jarring experience when you look at your true mortality. Um, and then having done that the day before and then seeing the picture of Darius the way that I did, which was not released and won't be released to the public, was very emotional. And it was a deeper spiritual journey in that moment than I'd had in a while, because God has been really, really, really awesome to me, so that I've been in a space, woo, a space of peace and calm and comfort. And in that moment, it was more intense than it's been in a while. So my brother Quake was by last night and we were talking, and he asked me about Darius's cigars. So within a 48-hour period, there was a great deal of intensity for me. And thinking about the things that I still need to do, all of his clothes and his socks, because he was a sock game guy. You guys know that. And all of his Redskins gear. And I just bought Bovita packs yesterday to make sure to take care of the cigars. So it's been a little different for me in the last 48 hours. Normally, I am in a different space. Today is a little more tender than normal for me. Very, very tender.
Yeah, I understand that part because what happens is when you start giving that stuff away, packing it up, at least for me, and I'm assuming it was for you, it feels like you're now discarding them.
And that's exactly what I said last night. It's like I'm not giving him away, but
Yeah,
it feels that way. However, you
feels that
have
way.
that feeling, and it's like, are you being disrespectful? Are you not
Yeah,
showing them the love that they deserved and earned? So it's a different rhythm, it's a different flow.
yeah. The longer you hold on to that stuff, like Stephanie's office, I've put some other stuff in there, so it's junky. I tell people when they come here, just don't look in that room because, and I told you that when you came through, CJ, just don't look over there.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten to the point where I can just actually go in there and, I know people say, "Oh, it's been 3 years. Why don't you clean that out?" But
It's
it's
tough.
it's a
they
It
don't,
task,
really
Can I
especially if
ask
I
a
have to do it
question?
by
Okay,
myself.
sorry.
right,
That's the pen she wrote with. That was the
yeah,
and it's like, okay, I'm getting all of that out of my life. It's like I ain't ready to do that.
right.
yeah,
I ain't ready
you
to do that. Go ahead, E.
Yeah, can I ask a question as a individual that hasn't, lost his spouse, like the things that you all expressing, like if I pass, like I would not like for my wife to have to like struggle with, releasing the things that I may have left behind. So is there something that could be done, prior
Yes,
to
this
kind of
yes,
let them off the
what
hook?
what I would suggest is if you got a cousin, or this is just my suggestion. I don't know how well will work, but
Mhm.
if you got a cousin or a homie that you trust or something like that, you want to put them in charge of something like that. Because even with me, I'm pretty sure, like, we all start to do it. We start to do it, and then that one piece of clothing, that one picture, that pen, that piece that stops you in your tracks, and you just stop, and you can't move no farther. You can't go no farther. The best thing to do, if I had to make, is to gather up all your friends and your family, or request all your friends and your family to come and make a party out of it. Make sure they're all together, and that way the process can keep moving, or pay somebody to do it. Bottom
Sim,
line, you pay somebody that
Sim,
does not know you to do it, because that's the
Sim is
only way
right.
it's going to get done. Because
He's
every
right.
time I had somebody in here who know, I'm sorry, every time I had somebody in here who knows them personally, and we start, it never gets done because there's that one piece, that one picture, that one scarf, that one pair of pants, and it just stops the whole process. And it's just so it makes it so hard. So the best thing to do is just to pay somebody who just is not even involved to take care of it. That's the only way you're going to get it done. Because if not, you're gonna have to do it gradually. You're gonna have to do a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. I still have a closet full of her clothes. I still have everything on her side of the bed, everything, papers, just things she didn't even need, garbage. I'll come across a candy bar she didn't eat and just stare at it, knowing that she loved it and she loved those things. And this is what happens. It's just a part of the process. It's like CJ said, I feel it. I feel it, CJ. It is so damn tough and it hits like lightning when you do it. Because you can be having a great day, you can be having an excellent week, and you'll feel guilty just because you haven't thought about that person.
See, that's
It
what I
is
did. That's what I did, Sam. I had, and they asked me why you not joining in, but and shout out to my sister, my cousin Gina, and my cousin Mel. They were here, and most of the stuff that was in the closet of Stephanie's, they bagged it up. They went through it. I didn't touch anything. I just said, no, don't throw that away. Keep that. And they just kept working. And, Stephanie had a lot of shoes. So I got a lot of shoes in there still. And the thing with me with that was I didn't just want to throw the shoes away, nor did I want to give them to Goodwill. I wanted to give them to somebody that could use them, or at least some woman that I know that wears her size. So, because Stephanie was very giving. And so, I give them to the Goodwill. We got some shoes in there that's got some dollar value to them. They're gonna sell them for $5. I mean, I know it could help somebody, but I don't want to walk in the mall see somebody styling her joint and they only paid $5. I'd rather give it to somebody I know, you know, that could
that
wear them.
love them. Yes,
Yeah.
they
So I
love
still
them.
got a lot. I still got a gang of
Yeah,
shoes in there, and I need to get that stuff out of the way so that I can start going into the next phase of my life without her. But just like her office, man, and it's been, like I said, it's been 3 years, and I still haven't done it. And I think about it all the time. I'm like, okay, this weekend I'm gonna do it, and then when the weekend comes, I'm like, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. I'm gonna go out somewhere, do something else. I'm not doing that. So yeah.
For I had church. I wasn't even in the room, but church family and some of Brian's fraternity brothers packed up all of his things, and I was the same way. Don't get rid of anything. Just put it all in bags, and when I'm ready, I'll go through it. So I bought some special bags, and they're still in the garage right now, and I still don't know when I'll be able to go through them. His college roommate wanted to honor him by wearing his jersey. And I started looking for it and ended up having to send my nephew to finish it because it was just too much. Just seeing the things for the first time just took me to a completely different space. So sometimes you feel like you have the nerve. It's like, I can do it today, and you get in front of the project or the task and you're like, nope, not today. And, like I said, it takes you to a different space. So you have to, and in order to guard your peace, and to protect your emotions, you have to know when to step back. You have to know when to step back.
What I have done, even though I'm not married or in a relationship, what I have done is I have preemptively talked exclusively with my son, told him the items that are important to me, the things that I value, the things that I would like for him to keep as legacy and inheritance from me. And I'm putting that in writing to go with the will. So everything else, he has free reign to dispose of as he so chooses. So that takes the pressure off of your spouse or your children who are remaining. If you tell, because he knows specifically, like the rings, this was my husband's, this was my daddy's. So and this was my husband's watch. So the timepieces, there's certain things that are critical that are of importance. So I've laid those out already, told him what those 4 things were. Everything else, to me, it does not matter because my concern is when I'm gone, I know he will be grieving. And I don't want him to be left with, well, my mama loved this particular dress or my mama loved these shoes. No, your mama told you what she wanted prior to exiting. Therefore, it relieves the stress off of your spouse and your children, anyone that's remaining. Now with what they've done as far as like Serena and Asim having others come and try to help, and what Joe did as well, is spectacular. I have a little more, I got control issues. Okay. Let's be clear. So I knew that I was not going to be able to let somebody else come in to the space that we shared and let them go through his things. I was very able to get through a lot. But then there's just a few items. All of his clothes are in my guest. I moved it from the master closet to the guest room closet, so I'm making progress. However, I'm very much so like Joe. Darius had very expensive clothing, very expensive shoes. He was a sneakerhead. So I just can't give them away. His brother has had first dibs. Our son can't wear them, so that's out. But there's select people that I'm like, okay, if you wear this size, you can potentially. So I'm selective about it, but it's a process. It's a process.
I'm gonna make a joke right there. Let me get those socks and some of those.
When you come to the crib, we'll make it happen.
Get those socks. And some balls.
Sock game was hot. Sock game was very hot.
Yeah, let me get that. Asim and I were talking earlier, and we're just talking about how you travel through this. And a lot of people, like he said, they tell you you're doing well. I'm proud of you, how you're handling things, and they don't ever really see the flip side sometimes. But this is a journey, and it's a journey that you have to walk alone. You can't walk with anyone. So, with that being said, what's your expression to people that may be watching, people that may be going through this, as far as how to handle that journey and that walk all by themselves?
Take it slow. Take it one day at a time. Don't try to rush any of it. And one thing that my therapist told me that helped a lot. I'm in therapy, still in therapy. Get some therapy. Yes, I'll tell anybody, get you some therapy. Oh my, because therapy. And I don't know. I don't know if I've said this on the show before, Joe. But okay, if in therapy, your brain is a muscle, just like any other part of your body. And if you break a leg, you got to go to physical therapy. You got to go there with somebody who's going to help you do an exercise that's going to strengthen your leg back. And you can do it on your own, but that doesn't mean it's going to heal correctly. If you have somebody there who can coach you and walk you through it, they can help you. They can help you do it correctly so that that muscle will be strong again. It may not ever work like it did once before, but at least it'll be strong. And so that's what therapy does for you. But the other side, the other advice I have for anybody is, or as my therapist said to me, nothing you feel is wrong. Your feelings aren't wrong. Nothing you feel is wrong. What happens is you just can't act upon every feeling that you have. And the therapist also helps you show you, okay, this is what you act upon. Or if you're feeling that, try to do this differently. That might help you interpret your feeling differently. Because it is easy to make mistakes when you are emotionally distressed. Anybody knows that. That has nothing to do with death. That's just life. Nobody, when everybody panics. I don't care who you are. I don't care how tough you are. One thing that I'm starting to learn, CJ, you studying to be you're a firearms instructor, right? Like me. So you meet these guys, these tough, these ex military guys, and they'll tell you stories of the toughest guys in the world that broke down like little babies in bad situations. So don't think so. Nobody is immune to their feelings. Nobody. There's no amount of training. There's no amount of therapy that can prepare you for bad things happening. This is life. This is how God made it. You get the test first, and then you get the lesson.
Yeah.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Um, still to this day, again, Sim and I were talking, and it's my feelings and my hurt are my hurts, but my biggest hurt is for my children. And watching them and seeing them grow. Like, my daughter just graduated high school. Steph wasn't there. And I know that's something she would have loved to have seen. And I held it together. I didn't break down or anything like that, but just watching her in her graduation spirit and seeing what was going on, it had an effect on me. It had an effect on me. But it amazes me how resilient children are, how they bounce back and they adapt and move forward and keep going on. And sometimes you're thinking like, why are you so chill for your mom died? Your mother died, but they're way more resilient than we are. They're way more resilient than we are. And I know you all have children. Talk about that. Mine are younger than CJ's, Serena's, and but Sim is right along with me as far as the age group, as far as the kids are concerned.
My son is grown. My son is grown. He's 36. Grown and married. Married him off in March. So his perception was different because he had my father, who was his daddy as well, and then Darius as his pops. And Darius had been in his life since he was 12, 13. So the relationship was solid. And he hurt behind losing Darius desperately. However, because of where we were emotionally, God bless us that the house was quiet and he and I could actually commune differently. So our relationship has strengthened since Darius's transition. And it's been a very good thing. We both miss him dearly, but not but. However, he's now starting his own family. So he's got a whole different perspective of what I was dealing with as he lost a pops or a dad and me losing a spouse. He's now in that space of, Ma, I see, I get it. It's different because it's now this is a person that you all chose to be with, not someone that you birthed or brought into the world. You made a conscious decision. You made a choice. So it's a different feel and vibe. He's doing well, and I'm proud of him. I know he has rough days, as we all do. However, he has a different support system to assist him through this process.
The girls, very much daddy's girls. So they have been maneuvering through. They have their good days, their bad days. I love that they have found strength in each other. Our bond has definitely changed. To we didn't have a choice but to grow closer. I think, though, for me, the biggest hurt that I've noticed lately is for Brian. I hurt when I think about what he's missing out on. When the grandbaby does something different, and and it's something that I know he would love, and I know he would. It breaks my heart because Brian loved life. He loved living. He loved people, and even more so, hurting for myself in not having him. I hurt for what he's missing. And I just have to remember, God doesn't make mistakes, and just remember that somehow he sees and he knows the good things that are happening. This is the success that the girls are having. How, the grandbaby, she was 1 when he left, and she there's little things that she'll say that only he said. He recognizes his pictures still. She'll go up and kiss it and say his hello, the greeting he would give to her. So I just have to believe that, there's an angel, out there that's still covering her and us. So yeah.
Well, my daughter, she just turned 10. And since this has happened, she's grown closer to my mother. And it's one thing I haven't I've expressed this in the past, but my wife died 2 months after her mother passed. So it's been the family dynamic is so different now. And I love the fact that my mother and my daughter are there for each other. But it's this is undiscovered country for me. I mean, I'm raising a little girl, and I mean, it's funny how God works out, because when I was younger, I wasn't exactly the nicest guy into the so this has forced me to look upon a part of myself.
God has a sense of humor, doesn't he?
Doesn't he? Doesn't
Oh,
he?
wow.
He's a funny dude.
Oh man. So I thank God that I got the support system I do. I'm not gonna lie about that. The support system is excellent because everybody her aunts, my female friends, everybody is helping me out. Everybody got advice and everybody's stepping in, and they doing such an excellent job in helping me navigate. And I know I'm just a firm believer in this. I'm a man. I'm never going to be able to teach her how to be a woman. I cannot teach somebody to be something I've never been. That's just something I can't do. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to try to be an example of the man I want her to be with. And as much as I stumble and I fall, I try to treat women with respect the best I can. I try to be a hard worker. I try to spoil her. I feel sorry for that dude that come in that door who want my daughter. He better have his stuff together. Because I spoil my baby. She gets whatever she wants. But that's the way I want it. That's how I want it. I want to make sure that I'm leaving her in good hands, and that the man I hand her off to is, if it ain't Jesus himself, he better be somebody Jesus would say, he okay, brother. It better be on that level. It better be, it got it. I'm not accepting any less. But then again, I'm also reminded, as God is funny, it ain't my decision. So I pray that all energies in the universe that he is like that. I hope it ain't me, but odds are it's gonna be me. And then come in that door.
Hey, my daughter's getting ready to go off to college. Daddy not gonna be there. I think
She
I think
come
I,
back with
I
Joe.
think
She might
Stephany in
come
her
back with
year
young. She might
got
come back with
right.
little Joe Big, and
Yeah,
that's scary. That's a
yeah,
scary thought.
yeah. I'm if things don't go right, he don't want to see me, man.
But in the immortal words of Jay-Z, that's the problem with being Bobby Brown. You want to be Bobby then, you got to be Bobby now. It's a journey, man. It's a process, man. It's the Joe. You might not have wanted her to have college Joe, but you wanted to have the Joe you are today. And he might have to be college Joe in order for her to have today.
If she get the dude that I was, we're gonna have a problem.
Say,
We're gonna have a
Joe,
big problem.
holla at me,
But
Joe.
I'm rested assured that she won't get
Joe, call me.
me in the other form
I
because
got you, Joe.
she is me all over again. So I
Just
feel
remember,
I
if you
feel
call me, I might be calling
hard.
you when my daughter bring me home. You feel me?
Yeah, no doubt. You know, but not only that, I feel for Serena's daughters because Brian was my dude, and if I got to go, handle something, I'm gonna handle it. That's my dude. I'm gonna take care of it. So once again, let them girls know they can call me anytime.
Absolutely.
Yeah, me and Cameron talk quite often over on Facebook and Instagram. So, and if y'all need any clothing, please contact me so I can put you in touch with her. She's a very great designer and seamstress. She does her own clothing, and it's wonderful, man. It's wonderful. So, what other stumbling blocks? No, I'm not even gonna say that. Let's talk about people that have been in your life all the way up until your spouse died, and where are they now? How has that changed? Because we know once that happens, you start seeing real people. You see real people, and people show you who they are. Things
That
change.
has been a test for me. That has shown me there are people who I thought were going to be there who haven't been there, and then there are people who I already knew were going to be there, and then there are people who I never thought that I'd have a relationship with that are showing up and making it clear, like, yo, I'm here for you, no matter what happens. It's a, it's a, it's. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like you said, Joe. God has a sense of humor. He can be a funny person when he wants to be, when she wants to be, or whatever. It's amazing. This is what I think about a lot. Like, I remember when I was 19 and 20, and I was like, okay, this is what my life is gonna be like. Okay, I think I can deal with this. And then in my 20s and 30s, it was like, all right, this is what my life is gonna be like. All right, I think I can deal with that. And then at the 30s and 40s, your life changes again, and you're like, okay, this is what my life is gonna be like. I think I can deal with that. And everybody in here can feel that way. And then you get married, and you like, I can ride this out. I can ride this to 50, 60, 80 years, whatever. And then this happened. And your life has changed again. And it just changed again. And if it taught you anything, if this has taught me anything, it's taught me that I don't know shit.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know.
That
No.
part. That part. Now, when we talk about this, because I know a lot of people that I know watch this. Those of you that have still been standing with me, you know who you are, and I know people got to go to work. People have their own lives, and they can't be trying to serve me and forget me, my kids. But those of you that are watching, I ain't talking about y'all. So I want them to know that I love y'all. Y'all have been with us. Y'all were my wife's friend. You stood with her. You were there with her. So this conversation and this part ain't about you. But it's some people that were there that they just ain't there no more. And when I say that, I mean totally not there no more. They ain't show up for nothing. They ain't call. They ain't check. They ain't text. Nothing. And that happens. And I'm cool with that. I'm good with that. Life changes. Things changes. Friends I had in middle school, I don't have them as friends no more. I get it. I get it. But this ain't about me. It's about your loyalty, your friendship, and your love for my wife and her kids. She got offspring. She got kids. So with those, and one of them watching right now, MP, I salute you. You ain't never changed up. You ain't never changed up. And I'm gonna let everybody know she know who I'm talking about right now. You ain't never changed up, and I love you for that. I love you for that. All right. Um, but that's just a part. That's the nature of the beast. It's the nature of the beast. And since I am the most senior one on the screen, I tell y'all, I'm proud of each and every one of you for how you've been handling things. We check on each other regularly, and y'all check on me, and I check on y'all, and things have been good. And I've watched you all's growth. That's why I wanted to do this one. And I know I said one time this was going to be the last one, and y'all got at me about it being the last one. What? It's going to be the last one? Yeah, and people watch. I want y'all to know this. We're talking about us, but this ain't about us. It's about people that are watching, that are going through this, have gone through this, and those that we don't know what the future lies. I hope you'll take some of these jewels and gems that we're giving you, and I hope you watch us and take the good from us. I'm not gonna say the bad, because the bad is not always seen, but the good things that you see, please take that in your journey and in your walk. I've had some friends and frat brothers recently that have lost loved ones, sons, and I hope they're on here. And I've extended myself to them. And you don't have to do anything but call me and just vent. I don't have to say anything back. I just listen. I will listen, because this ain't nothing easy. You know what I'm saying? This ain't nothing easy. What up, Harper? I appreciate you, team. Is there anything else you guys want to say to people? I mean, because we've been doing this series for a while, so we've covered a lot of ground since our loved ones have passed. Is there anything that you want to say to people that may be listening to help equip them if they're going through this, or have to face this?
The
You know,
the main the
go ahead.
main point I bring up, and I'm always bring this up: get you a will, make you a trust, write everything down, because this throws you for a loop financially, mentally, physically. You want to have this thing. We now, that part about us. Now we talk about generational wealth and us doing better as people and things like that. Best believe, especially if you live in North Carolina, your will is already written by the state. If you die, don't think just because you got a marriage license, or that's your daddy or your mama or whatever, that your your fortune is protected or your assets are protected. They are not. Make sure you get everything in writing. Make sure you get it written down. Make sure you get a legal document. Make sure you get it to make sure you get it to the downtown so that it's filed. Because even then, when you get sick, the last thing you want to be is stuck in a hospital bed, draining your family's money, draining your money that should be going to your children, and you're just a vegetable and you can't do nothing. You haven't even had it in writing to say what happens to you if in that situation. People do not understand how serious that is. I have been. You will be dealing with litigation for so long. It's not even funny. Even my father passed away more than 3 years ago. We're still dealing with his estate. It is no joke. And since all that, I've had to deal with my wife's estate. I had to deal with my mother-in-law's estate, as I stated, and that happened. Of course, I didn't expect that happened, but that one right after the other. Get it in writing, people. Check with your job and make sure that your beneficiaries are stated on your paperwork, that you know where your money is going, because Uncle Sam wants his cut first. North Carolina wants their cut, and ain't nobody don't do power don't care. The water company don't care. Everybody here would have been through that to tell you. Don't nobody, the Visa, MasterCard, none of them care. They want their money and they coming for it. So please get it in writing, please.
One of the other major things that you need to be mindful of, not just getting it in writing, the vultures will come out as soon as someone passes away. So you need to be very, very clear. You need to be very succinct about what you will and won't let go of, because people will come at you for your vehicles. Oh, well, they had this and they had that. Well, what are you going to do with this? Oh, well, what are you going to do with that? And because you're in a space of grief, if you haven't already thought about some of these things or have it in writing, they will come at you so hard, it will be mind blowing. And some people will do it with finesse. Others will just come at you. My baby sister's father-in-law passed away, and he was a tremendous man. Loved him, just loved him. He was an airborne trooper. The man was military, just amazing. He was a gearhead. When I say a gearhead, this man bought his son a Corvette for graduating with his master's degree. He kept a BMW. He kept, big trucks. He had an arsenal of vehicles. And as soon as he passed away, people were coming at my brother. I don't say in-laws. He's my brother. He married my sister. He's my brother. They were coming at my brother like you wouldn't believe. I mean, because the cars, the vehicles, the property, so many things. And he was such a high-end individual. The value was tremendous. So you got to be real mindful, because people will come at you like snakes. And because you're vulnerable, because you're grieving, you're not thinking about this material stuff, and you'll let stuff go, and it will be something that you could have literally lived off of for a year. You just have to be mindful of how you navigate.
Bulldog. You need a bulldog. You need
Yeah.
someone who's not thinking clearly. You're unaware of what's going on around you. So you need that one person that you trust that doesn't mind being that voice to say, no, you can't do that. Or no, she's not ready to do that. Or no,
Right.
she's not ready. Whatever. You need that one voice, because I found myself protecting other people's feelings a lot, and trying to. And so my best friend was like, I got it. So there's some spans of months where I didn't have to make any decisions, because I didn't trust my own self. And so she really stepped up and was that bulldog, was that person. And she took a lot of backlash from it, but she didn't back down. So you need that person. It can't always be your children, because they're mourning, they're mourning as well. So you need someone that can be that support that you trust.
Right.
That you trust.
I wanted
Right.
to point that out too, Serena. People gotta realize that too. When these things happen, and you wonder what happened to the family members or why they're not stepping behind you, why that happened. This just didn't happen to you. This happened to them too. It happened to them. Keep that in mind. It sent ripple. This was a this was a pebble that dropped, or
A boulder.
He froze.
He froze. Well, to finish his thought, it was
again
a
too.
boulder that you
Right.
dropped,
A
and it
tsunami.
caused major effects. Yeah, absolutely.
They don't people don't realize that death didn't just affect you, it affects everybody. So don't be so hard on other family members, because not everybody's going to handle it like you. Not everybody's going to be able to bounce back or even to stand up like you. Some of them don't feel like they need therapy. Some of them
He keeps freezing.
Yeah. What? Well, I'm gonna take an opportunity to say I want to thank you all for sharing. I would just say myself, I've been more intentional about talking about death with my family and my spouse and what that would kind of look like for us in preparation of that happening. Like y'all mentioned, wills and trust and all of those things, and trying to piece those together and trying to ensure that the people that are left behind don't have to deal with or carry a lot of weight. Um, but I got a question that I wanted to ask. In dealing with death, would I be considered selfish in that I don't take on the weight of ensuring everyone else is okay and just kind of deal with myself and being sure that myself is okay? Because I have like children and things like that. Um, and I'm listening to you all talk about carrying the weight of ensuring that everybody is kind of okay while you're going through and dealing with the loss. And I'm thinking like, would I be selfish in saying like I'm just gonna look at myself for just a moment here?
Absolutely.
one,
No,
one,
I have.
one thing
That
you got to remember is, if you're going to be feeding a household, you don't have the energy. If you don't eat, you ain't gonna have the energy to feed nobody else. You ain't gonna have the energy to get out there and work the job to make sure everybody else eats. It also works like that with your emotion. If you're gonna be checking on everybody else and making sure they're all right, you better make sure you're all right. You have gotten bad advice. You know what, when you got bad advice from somebody who didn't evaluate the advice they gave you. You want to when you get advice from somebody who don't walk through the fire and came out burned, but they good on the other side, don't you? That's what you want. I mean, you want somebody who done, yeah, I don't walk through this fire and been burned. Let me show you the scar. You don't want somebody who's still standing in the fire or who's scared to walk through it. You want somebody.
self-preservation is key. Self-preservation is key. It simply is.
Y'all
And
excuse me. For some reason, even though I had a computer plugged up, it just said my battery's low and the screen went blank. I'll be
no
right back.
worries, you
I
good.
got to check on some other
Um,
stuff.
Self-preservation is key, as Asim was saying, and it goes back to the old adage that I think I said probably 2 or 3 times before. If you don't put your oxygen mask on first, you don't have the ability to help anybody else. So if an airplane crashes and you go to help somebody else and you don't put yours on, you're gone, boo. You're done. So you have to think about you first. And when we say all or everybody, maybe we should have been more specific. Those immediate in your circle that you know you are responsible for on a daily basis, make sure that core is taken care of. Everybody else, God bless them and good night. But it's God first, family second, everybody else get in line and take a number. It ain't complicated.
And
And be
CJ ain't
prepared
lying, because
for
that core is what's gonna take care of you when
Right.
you fall. That's why you want to take care of them next, because that's gonna be the ones they're gonna be the ones that's gonna be changing your diapers when you get old. They're gonna be the ones helping you in and out of the tub. Don't be helping out. It's just that real. It's we don't A lot of us don't. We always think about how we live it now, but we don't never think about you're gonna be older way longer. You're gonna be younger. When you was 20 years old, you never thought you'd be where you at right now, doing what you're doing, or as old as you are. You ain't think about your knees. But every time you got to bed in the morning, I bet you think about them knees, don't
Mm-hmm. You were
and
gonna say something, babe.
be prepared for the backlash that comes with that too. Even though we are in a world of self-care, that only extends as far as it does pass be to you. So, sometimes choosing you is not popular. Um, But when losing a spouse or anyone extremely close, um, if you don't grieve properly, there's 1,000 books and articles and groups and therapists that, give advice and tools on how to grieve. But that journey is truly yours. You truly have to find your groove. I started out listening to everyone, and then I crashed. So you have to find your way. And sometimes that's just stepping back and being selfish. I can only concentrate on my mental health. I can only concentrate on my emotional health. And so in doing that, like I said, I did that pretty much from June to a few months ago, but now I'm stronger. So now I'm able, you know what I'm saying, to talk to someone who's lost a spouse, or do things like this, give podcasts, and actually, I've gotten lost in writing. That has helped me a lot. So you have to find your niche, your thing that brings you comfort. And sometimes that just may be shutting everything out. You don't want to stay there too long, of course, but sometimes you have to just shut everything out, close the doors, face you. I say I had PTSD, and deal with those things that bring you trauma, or the flashbacks are horrible. So those are things that you can only do by you and God. Sometimes you just have to close the doors. Okay, God, it's me and you. I only, how can you bring me out of this?
So
Thank
no,
you for that.
to address your question, no, it's not selfish and it's not wrong. You have to put yourself first and ensure that you are prioritizing what's most important in your immediate circle.
Absolutely.
And that's perfectly okay. And if someone were to tell you that they weren't, that wasn't the case, I'd be very concerned about their mental stability.
So yeah, again, I appreciate and thank you all for sharing. It's been so valuable. At least to me, it has been. Y'all have put a lot of things in motion with what you've shared, and I think I missed one. But the ones I've attended, yeah, it's been powerful. So I definitely appreciate you
Great,
sharing with us on the front porch.
grateful to be able to share and possibly help someone. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm that one.
Bravo, we'll
I gotta
take
give a few shout outs. Shout out to Jerry Harper. What's up, team?
Yes,
Chris,
sir.
what's up, team? Trisha, she's on here. Anissa's on here. Miss L. Wilson. Sly, what's good, my man? My
Fly
cousin
actually just
Erica,
doing a
cousin
drop.
Melody. So appreciate y'all tuning in. And those of you who haven't made comments that are watching us, we appreciate you guys. And hopefully we're doing something. I look at that screen going black and all that. That was, I think we're doing God's work. So, whenever you're trying to do something positive, some negativity and some demons and stuff are gonna come at you. But I got it fixed now. The Lord worked it out. It's him exercising his humor again. But we ain't gonna let that stop us. We're gonna keep going. Um,
Were there any
so
other questions, Joe?
no, I don't have any other questions. We just wanted to do this show just to show some growth, and we'll probably wait another 3, 4, 5 months to see where everybody is once y'all cross those 2 year marks. And trust me, second year is something. Serena knows, and Sam and Katana is coming. It's a little different, and then we'll see what y'all do when you cross that 3 year mark. I've crossed that, and like I said, it never gets better. It just gets bearable. I think I'm in the bearable stage now, going more into bearable. Um, but it's never the same. I'm going to go through a new phase now because I'm about to be an empty nester, and it's not an empty nester in the true sense that it's me and my wife and we're empty nesters. It's just going to be me here. So we're going
I'm
to see
already,
how that
I'm already there, love.
how that transition
I'm
works.
already there.
Yeah, you already doing it.
I'm already doing that.
Yeah,
That's
so
it's a different beast, babe. It's a different beast. Um, because you get accustomed to having that other presence in the house.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like the, nobody's here. I
Why
wasn't
am I
gonna do
doing
what
that?
I'm gonna say.
I don't like that. Why am I doing that? Yeah.
But it's a different rhythm, and you learn to work with yourself and deal with yourself. For me, I've become more meditative, and I've spent more time reading and really soul searching for things and analyzing where I am. Because it's quiet. It's unadulteratedly quiet.
I,
Um, mhm.
no, I'm saying I kind of feel you on that one because my wife was the only person in the house who drank coffee, and it took me a year to throw that coffee maker away.
Man, look,
Yeah, it just sat there collecting dust. Coffee sitting in the top, and never didn't even drink coffee. And then I'm sitting there like I had to like tell myself like, why are you holding on to this coffee maker? It's a little $20 coffee maker. You know what I'm saying? Like you hold on to it like it's an espresso machine, like it's the Keurig or something. Just
look,
throw
I
it
got
away.
the Keurig. I bought the Keurig for Darius and Jerry. Well, Darius was drinking coffee like it was cool, so I had just bought Buffalo Trace infused coffee. I had like 6 to 10 boxes of them joints. Bought them all. I still have 3, 4 huge things of Keurig pods where they were coffee drinkers, and now that Jay is gone, I just use the Keurig to make my hot tea. But when people come, I got plenty of coffee, but I don't touch the stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Right.
I know what we need to talk about. Let's
Right.
talk about this.
Look, what?
So it took forever for me to just be like, Serena, just make the coffee yourself. Use the Keurig. I just couldn't
Bless your heart.
do
Do
it.
it.
I just
Mhm.
couldn't do it.
Mhm.
Till recently, I have been, but it took
Progress, baby. Progress.
right,
Bravo.
right. But it was just something. Every time I would go to the Keurig and look at it and just walk away. It was too much. It was too.
So how have family members been with you all? Because you know that's something that changes, and maybe not so much with spouse, but when dad, mom, granddad, grandma, auntie pass, it's usually, at least in the black family, it's usually a circus. Somebody thinks they're supposed to get something they ain't supposed to have. Oh, I took care of them longer, but I should have that. But you're not in the will, bro. And a whole lot of that stuff goes on, and especially if there's a the husband dies and the wife is left, or the wife dies, the husband's left, whatever. People start to shy away from caregiving and all that kind of stuff. So it can get very crazy, and there's pounds and mounds of paperwork and things that have to be done. People don't understand. Like, I still haven't done my father-in-law stuff. He has a son that's living. He ain't capable, but he want to play the game, thinking I'm gonna try to cheat him and not sign over the power to me to do it when he can't handle it.
Okay.
So, it's just sitting there. And like I said, he died 11 days before my wife. So we're talking about since 2019, it's been 3 years and nobody has done anything with that estate. It's crazy.
For me, my family has just been super supportive. Um, they, I've not had those issues. Darius was one of two, and he had a smaller family unit than mine. So went through some things. Ramsey came by. His brother got what he wanted, and what was left was for Jay and I. Gave some things to his mom that I knew she would appreciate and cherish, and definitely to his aunt Maxine, who we just call her Mac. Um, and now I'm starting to just kind of slowly dribble things out to a few special people that I know he want to have certain things. But my situation was very different because his unit was smaller, and then my family, because I'm from a family of 5, all of my siblings and my 8, I'm sorry, 14, 15 nieces and nephews, they just come to the house and they just enjoy the space that Uncle Darius was in. So I'll give them things as they continue to mature. But outside of that, my family experience was actually pretty good. So I'm very grateful and blessed in that arena.
Ms. Wilson said, what about feeling guilt anyone plan a vacation or something, then cancel because you think that it's unfair that the person who died can't be there. You have those feelings. You have
Absolutely.
those feelings. I've had things that I wanted to do. I was like, dang. I even went on a trip with some friends, to Miami a year ago, and it was like they were all coupled up.
Right.
Ooh,
I don't
yeah.
have
What do
it.
you do?
You know,
What do you
Well,
do?
Ah, been there.
well,
That's
as
I,
why
far
you know,
as
I did take someone with me, but
it's not the
still,
same.
you're with your wife. You're with your wife. My wife can't be here,
Mhm.
so it's that type of thing. I had a good time, and shout out to the person who went with me. We had a nice time.
I had Brian had a trip from 2020 for my 25th anniversary. We were cruising to Italy, so I had to use the cruise or by the end of this year. So I broke it up into two, and so the first one I took two girlfriends with me. And initially in the planning, I did feel guilty because I'm thinking this was our trip. This was
Mhm.
what we were supposed to be doing. And I felt like in the beginning that I was dishonoring him in some way by just using the credit from what we had already, you know, had. So those things are real. Clave is coming up.
Yeah.
Um, and I went. He took me to Clay Whitney, of course, to keep me out of his hair. But he figured, by having me there, whatever. But do the whole, do I participate? How does that look? What does that look like? You go through all of those things, um, because you do. It hurts, that they can't experience or participate. It hurts, sometimes it hurts to be happy sometimes, if that makes sense. You know, it's just a strange feeling. It's always some type of emptiness. No matter the celebration, no matter how good, no matter, there is still a emptiness, a void in whatever,
My therapist said that's a total, but she said it's a total natural thing to feel that guilt. The guilt that you feel is the love that you have for that person. You have so much love and so much of an empty, a void that you can't fill with them not being there. So that's totally natural to feel that guilt. You feel guilty if you're happy. You feel guilty that you're doing good. You feel guilty that that life is still moving forward. You hear a song that you think that person would have liked that song. You see a movie and you think about that person, figure that person would have liked this movie. And it's a feeling. It's a feeling like any other feeling. It's that if you didn't feel guilt, then there probably wasn't any love there like that. The guilt is part of the love part of it. But what it is that the way I look at it, I try to think of it in the sense of if your roles were reversed and you were the person that was gone, how would you like you want them to stop their life for this? I mean,
Right.
if it was me and I passed away and and my wife was still here, I would hope that she'd meet somebody rich as Jay Z and good looking as Idris Alba, and he a better father than any father I've ever seen, and I would want that's the person I want. But but that's me, and like I said, I try to keep that in mind. If it was me and the roles reversed and I was gone, how would I be? I may feel guilty, but how would I want this person to do that? Because that's kind of selfish to die and feel like that person's life need to stop because my life is over. We're not pharaohs. You don't need to bury me with everything I own and all my servants and everything. I'm not that. That's not me. That's just how I try to think about it. But it's
Doesn't make sense.
perfectly natural to feel guilty. I do know that it is perfectly natural.
I want to
I,
give out a shout out to Tanya Hendricks, Tony Austin Mayo, Wanda Carter, and Tony Hill. What up, dog? Um,
um,
Go ahead.
Mine is a little different because Darius and I had that serious conversation about 8 weeks before he transitioned. So my level of guilt is I feel more of a potential disrespect when I do certain things and not necessarily a guilt. But that's because we had literally 8 weeks before he passed away, we had had the conversation of, if you were to transition, would you be okay if I remarried, if I dated, if I such and such? What would you like to do? If you transition, do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated? So we had that, and it was fresh. It was super, super fresh for me. So the guilt, not so much, but sometimes I do feel like I'm disrespecting his memory um, when I move certain ways, if that makes sense. Um, so what I'm hearing is the survivor's remorse really is what we go through when you lose that spouse. So mine is not as keen or as painful as you guys is, because I know God just blessed me that we had a serious. We sat on the chair. He sat in the club seat. I sat on the couch. We held hands and we talked, like really, really talked, because we were in the process of updating wills and in the process of updating beneficiary information and all that. So it's a little different. The same but different. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Well, y'all,
And, CJ, I'm sure you still feel it though. Even after that conversation, I'm pretty sure there's times where you just feel it. Like, is this right? Is this okay? Is this okay? It's just like I said. If that's that love. That's that love. That's the love.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
y'all, I think we've had a great conversation, great discussion. I think we've helped some people. We've given them some gems and some things that they can walk with.
You
Let me
got
say, my brother would not concede to death with the cancer to the last day he fought. Okay. Um, but we about to get out of here. And one more time, we'll get one up for my wife. If y'all at home, please kiss one up for Steph. Uh, so I'm gonna go back to unwinding and celebrating her memory the way I do. Nice little bourbon, nice little cigar, nice little music, and relaxing. I'll probably be out here until about 2 or 3 in the morning. Once everybody else is gone and just in my thoughts and whatnot. My prayers go out to anybody who has lost a loved one recently. My prayers go out to anyone who's ever lost a loved one. My prayers definitely go out to this group of individuals that's here with me. And now we're gonna transition and do some light and love type stuff. Uh, Tomorrow night, if you're in Durham, go out to Rookies. DJ all night. One of our hosts will be DJing. You will not be disappointed. You will be pleased. It's gonna be a great time. Make sure you catch him. Woosah Fridays is what he calls it. We get started about 7 o'clock and then go to 12 o'clock. Be on the lookout for the mashup that we do with Straight to Tape about once a month. Also be on the lookout for something that's going to be very, very special. This is going to be a grown folks edition of Front Porch Discussion. It's going to be so grown that we're not going to do it on Thursday night. I'm going to have to, this going to be, we're going to call it Front Porch Late Night or Front Porch
Oh
After
yeah.
Dark. It's going to be super grown because one of my girls brought a topic to me. You know, I've known her since I was about 15, 16. She was in Plainfield, New Jersey, and I spent a lot of time in Jersey. So uh, she hit me with something that she's in right now, and I'll be advertising it and promoting it and putting it out there and let everybody know it's gonna be crazy. So y'all, I don't know what you're doing Friday nights, and if you're doing on Friday night, at least take an hour to just sit at home and check this out because it's gonna be crazy. There's some true adult stuff. Put the kids to bed and all that kind of stuff. You got little ones. It's gonna be serious conversation.
Okay.
With that said, no music to end it today. Just want everybody to think and give a shout out to their loved ones. And we're signing off, y'all. See y'all later.